Wonderful. Well, I think we have most people here now. So, welcome, guys. Lovely to have you join us for this webinar event today. The mental health movement that we're all part of, hopefully, was established to support everyday needs in the lives of everyday people. In providing a safe space to express thoughts, concerns, and mental health topics, we aim to reduce stigma, increase help seeking, and normalize the experience of difficult days as we navigate this often complex life. Today, we'll hear an important story. The impact of this will be different for each of us. Let's just be mindful for the next hour or so of our diversity and the breadth of our life experiences, offering some simple support to ourselves and each other through the webinar and later. Before we start, I just want to do a quick exercise around how we can offer that simple support to ourselves and to those around us. So, what I'd like you to do is hold up one fist and hold that fist as tight as you can. And when you're ready, I would like you to, with your other hand, to try and open your fingers, try and open your fist. Now, often what happens when you try and open that is that the fist gets tighter and tighter. We get more and more determined to hold on to the things that matter. So now this time, getting your tight fist as tight as you can, I just want you to rest it in the palm of your other hand. And what you may notice is that your fist just quite naturally relaxes a little bit. And the only thing that's changed is what we're asking of it. So when we're trying desperately to force things, it gets tighter. When we're allowed to just be, and whatever the moment brings is what it brings, it allows people to feel safer and supported and more connected to the current moment and their current experience. So I really hope that that's helpful for you today and moving forward from today, that we are able to support ourselves and those around us in this really simple way by offering a point of safety and connection. My name is Marie. I'm a mental health trainer and assessor with Celtic training, and I'll be hosting today's session. We're so privileged to have Katie O'Reilly with us today to share her insights on choosing joy over bitterness. This mantra was birthed and honed through challenging, even overwhelming life experiences, including the cancer journey of Katie's youngest daughter. When confronted with these dire circumstances, Katie and her family were presented with an important choice, one that would influence the moment and the rest of their lives. The choice is joy or bitterness. From this choice came a passion to support those experiencing distress and, if possible, create something of value that allowed the journey of others to be just a little more bearable and a little less lonely. Today, we will hear from Katie about the key points of her journey, the development of purpose from pain, and then discuss some emotional literacy, resilience, and the impact of choices on our well-being. Please now welcome Katie to our platform as she shares her story.
Hi, Marie. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's like such an honor to be here today, and it's actually an honor to share my story and actually my family's story. Uh, Firstly, I want to say that I've got two awesome daughters. I've got, and they're actually teenagers now. So
Nice.
I tell you this because they are actually part of this story.
Yes.
And yeah, so the story actually starts back in 2019 when my youngest daughter, she was 8 years old, and my eldest daughter, it was 2 days before her 12th birthday. And my youngest daughter, she was always a very unwell little girl. She had food allergies, eczema. She had a little hole in her heart. she had high platelets, recurring UTIs. So she was in and out of hospital quite a lot ever since she was a baby.
Yeah.
And one morning she woke up and she'd sweated through all her sheets. And this was becoming a reoccurrent theme. And so I rang our GP, but she wasn't available that day. And so we just got into a different doctor at the same clinic, and I took her in to the doctor, and she was sitting on my lap, and he just looked at her, and he just said to me straight away, "How long has she had that lump on her neck for?" And I just looked at her, and straight away I saw the lumps straight away, and I thought, as a mum, how did I miss that? I felt terrible. And he was the most loveliest man ever. And he did not make me feel bad at all. And he sent us down for an ultrasound. And we had the ultrasound. And when we left, we got a phone call from the clinic within half an hour, and we had to go back. And we found out that she'd had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So when I found that out, that night I actually talked to my husband and I said to him, "I'm choosing joy over bitterness." And he said to me, what do you mean?" And I said, "I'm not choosing bitterness. I'm choosing joy over this situation." I said, "I'm not going to let cancer eat me up inside." Um, I said, I'm going to be, um, I'm going to be joyful, and I'm going to try and pull the joyful moments out of this situation. I said, I'm going to be a better person for my children. I'm going to be a better person for myself, for the doctors and nurses, if I'm not a bitter person. And whatever the outcome is, I'm going to try my hardest and try and be joyful. And we went through chemotherapy for 6 months.
Mm.
And she rang the bell on May 29th, 2020, which was so exciting. This was all during COVID lockdown, so we actually did all this on our own. And then once she was in remission, my mental health actually really took a turn, and I suffered from PTSD and depression and anxiety. I closed my hair salon,
Mhm.
and I took time for myself. And during that time, I started thinking about the trauma that my daughter had went through with port access, and 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 how there was just nothing that helped her with her emotions.
Mm.
Um, and one night I was lying in bed and I just thought of my buddy Boo, and how you could have this toy that kids could snuggle, and you could stick a Velcro port on to give them some type of control during the port access, and they could stick their emotions on there to help their parents and their caretakers know how they're actually feeling during cancer treatment. And that's
Wow.
pretty much how Boo was kind of born.
Mm. Yeah, look, thank you. That's such a beautiful and powerful story. Choosing joy and living out that choice is two very different things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. How has
Uh,
that choice sort of helped with the mindset, or when has that been challenged along the way?
it was definitely, it was definitely challenging. Um, there was one particular moment. It was definitely challenging for each individual in the house. It was definitely challenging in one particular moment for myself, Marie. I remember, which she was actually originally diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she was on a clinical trial,
Mm.
uh, and she'd been doing chemo for a couple of months,
Yeah.
and they took us all into a room, and they said to us, actually, no, she's a stage 4. And
Wow.
at that point, I think that's when I had to really hone in on that. Don't go down that bitterness. You need to go down that track of choosing joy at that particular point,
Mm.
um, because the treatment then had to go for longer. She had to go on more intense
Mm.
chemotherapy and more steroids. And I really chose at that point, if I went down that bitterness track of why us, why her, seeing her go, she was so unwell. If I chose to go down that bitterness track, it wouldn't have been good for her, wouldn't have been good for me.
Mm.
It's almost a form of, when you forgive someone,
Mm.
sometimes when you forgive someone, you forgive them, but you're actually doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're actually healing yourself, and it helps you as a person, and you feel lighter, and you're going to move forward.
Mm.
And I think that's how it helped me.
Mm.
And but there was definitely a lot of emotions going on.
Yes, there
I just
must have been.
imagine I just imagine this party popper going off, and that's how it was. It's just like, one child might have been bearing all the emotions and not
Yeah.
showing anything. And then my husband was, I say he was like yelling at the sky, and,
Yeah.
like there was
Yeah.
emotion everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but we as a family would always find the joyful moments in it. So um, we would do crafts together. The kids would game online together. So we would be in hospital, and um, their dad would get online with my daughter, and my other daughter would be at home, and they would all get on and game
Oh,
together, and they'd be laughing. You
yeah.
find joy in those hard times. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. And it's not joy for what's going on. It's capturing these little moments of connection and value. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. You find those little moments in those hard times, and we still do that today, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you even today, um, my daughter's now in remission, but we still have mental health issues in our family, and people are still struggling, but we still find those little glimpses, and you
Mm.
reach out and find those happy moments, and
Yeah.
it gets you through.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I know that we've talked a little bit before about gratitude and how that sort of had a real impact on your journey and just being able to maintain that choice. How does gratitude sort of play out in your day at the moment?
Mm. Ah, I'm for one, I'm so I'm so I'm so grateful for our outcome. Like,
Mm. Of
but that,
course.
yeah, obviously. Um, but gratitude's a massive, a massive thing for me. And it's always taking all those little things out of each and every day.
Mm.
Um, and I am trying to teach that to my kids as
Mm.
well.
Yeah,
Uh, Sorry, Marie, I'm just
it's
trying not
okay.
to tear up here. It's it's really hard because when you go through something like this and when you're sitting in the hospital, you do see some families that don't actually leave with
Yeah.
their children. I think it's the families that you look up to and they walk away and they're still grateful. I think those
Wow.
are the ones that they're the ones that I just look up to and think, wow, absolutely incredible. So if they can get through life
Yeah.
and um, and be grateful and move forward and do amazing, incredible things, what can like I shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Mm. It's so human to worry. It's so human to
So
get caught
human.
up,
Yeah.
and to find even comfort in challenging emotions because it's all we've
Mm,
got sometimes. Yeah,
yeah.
it's so human to do that. And I guess part of the privilege and the pain of your experience is having the opportunity to witness that incredible modeling from other people that
Yeah.
I guess only that circumstance can bring you.
Yeah, there's so many incredible cancer families out there that have
Mm,
done incredible work. And I see
mm,
them constantly out there, and they're doing incredible work raising money and making. Um, there's so much awareness out there, and they've had
yeah.
incredible journeys. Yeah.
Mm. And your incredible contribution, Buddy Boo. How have you found that that's sort of had an impact on how even your own family has been able to express emotions and other ways that's played out? I know that you've got partnerships with Monash Children's Hospital as well.
uh, Monash Children's have been amazing. I'm so pleased to be partnered with them. They've been incredible. So my daughter actually was treated at Monash Children's Hospital, and so to be partnered with them is absolutely amazing. And I'm also partnered with Koala Kids Foundation, Type 1
Beautiful.
Foundation. And we've also gifted to Ronald McDonald's House in
Oh,
Hobart
yeah,
to be even, yeah, and to be even part of those organisations and that they give a little bit of happiness to those families that are facing a tough moment in their life. And to be part of that and Boo being a play therapy toy and giving a little glimpse of hope to those families was just such an honour.
yeah,
And uh, and I'm just so pleased that we can be there to help those families. So we donate 20% of our stock to them.
mm,
Um, and a lot of our customers are actually buying gift-a-boos and donating as well. So we're trying to get as many boos to families that need it, and
mm,
such an amazing feeling just to give back, and especially
yeah,
when you were one of those families too. So yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
yeah. Being part of that bigger purpose and just doing what you can to contribute.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Be
That's
part of that.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's so amazing, so
Mm,
amazing, and it's so good to see my kids uh, see and see the booze get dropped into the hospitals, and they can come along and drop them off, and it's such a great feeling.
yeah, that's so lovely. And I guess all of that's only possible because you chose joy.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes. And
Yeah.
like I went through so much. there was so much turmoil that I actually went through personally through that journey as too, like when I actually designed Boo. So my mental health was actually at a really, really tough stage. So when Sailor was in remission and my mental health was at a really, really bad point, um, uh, so I had PTSD and it was so much, there was so much that I remembered that I just crashed because I held on to so much of it when she was in hospital, that it just came flooding back. And so it was really tough there for a while. And so going through all that and then to come back and to be able to build a product that can actually have so much joy and happiness is just beautiful. Because yeah, choosing joy actually got me out of that, because I could have stayed in that place and I chose
Yes.
to. Yeah, yeah.
So
And
cool.
even when I was in that place, I wasn't angry
Mm.
that my daughter had cancer. I was just going through the emotions of it.
Yes. Which is so
Yeah,
important. And it's such a healing part of that healing process is to go through those emotions. Um,
absolutely. And
I,
you need to ride
yeah,
the waves.
yes, yes. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so interesting what you mentioned there about how you held on to everything because the circumstances demanded it of you. But then when there was space, out it came, right? And
yeah,
sometimes in people's lives, in all of us, we've had times of having to hold or feeling the need to hold. And then we're presented with all these things we've been storing for only we know how long. And it can feel really overwhelming to
yeah,
have to experience all of that at once.
yeah.
How in the creation of Buddy, how have you allowed that expression of emotion in a safer way where people get to express themselves without feeling so undone?
Um, so with with for people to be using Buddy, you mean?
Yeah. So in using Buddy, and being able to express and show people what you're going through the
Yeah,
expression of Buddy Boo, um, that's
yeah.
still relieving, isn't it? Even you
It,
haven't had to
it
say it, but it's still putting it out there.
Exactly. So with Boo, so I wanted to design it so that so when kids are actually in the hospital, they
Mm,
feel so unwell. And I just
mm,
remember that our daughter, and it wasn't just my daughter that was in the cancer ward. It was actually my other daughter that was at home, because she was
yes.
actually saying to me, because it's not just the kids that are going through the cancer treatment, it's their siblings at home as well. She was saying to me that she was fine. So um, I wanted Boo to actually have badges. I've got one here. I wanted Boo to have badges so that kids could actually stick the badges on, so that they could actually easily just stick them on. So they
Yeah.
don't even have to verbalize how
Yeah.
they're actually feeling, because the last thing that they want to do is actually say, Mum, I'm feeling scared. Mum, I'm feeling angry. They can actually just stick it on there and it feels less threatening. They can just put it
Mm,
on there. Their parent just comes in and has a little look.
yeah.
And I noticed that after I designed Boo, that my eldest daughter, the one that wasn't going through cancer, she actually put on the little depressed emotion
Yeah.
and the little loved emotion, and she would leave it on her bed. And I know that she was feeling really depressed and she needed a hug, because she was suffering
Mm,
from depression at the time, and she needed a hug. So I'd go in her room and I'd just give her a hug, and I knew that she needed extra mum time that day. So I just know that kids can talk about their emotions sometimes, but sometimes they just need to not verbalize it. They just need to stick it on there and make it really easy for the parent or the doctor, the nurses to see it. And the other thing that
Adults too, Katie. I mean,
adults
adults too.
adults too. And we also, and I made the Velcro port to make the port procedure nice and easy for kids
Yeah.
as well, because port procedure was very traumatic for my daughter because she
Mm,
had needle phobia.
mm,
Uh, and this was designed so that it gave the kids more control
mm.
during port access because they just don't have any control
Yeah.
during that process. They've lost all control during chemo. So they could actually just stick that on as well during port
So
procedures.
good.
And it makes them feel as well like they've got a buddy that's going through the same thing as them.
Yes.
So they feel seen and supported
Yeah.
and yeah. And we've got an insulin pump as well for kids that are going through type 1 as well, because obviously that's got the little needle as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's really important for those kids.
Mm. No, it's such a beautiful thing that you've thought through and created, and in your desire to give back and to lessen the burden on those going through what you have already journeyed through. Out has come this incredible resource that is so adaptable for people. It's so direct in terms of those medical procedures, but I know that I've used the boo that I have in lots of different situations, and it's just as effective. And I know that you would have heard some incredible feedback from families, um, but mostly it's what's happening for the person, right? It's what is allowing the person that's going through whatever life is throwing at them, be it in the case of your family, your youngest daughter, or the older daughter, or yourself, or your husband, or the other family members that just knew about it but didn't know how to respond. It's just such a beautiful way of bringing people together
Mm-hmm.
and allowing people to navigate these harder emotions in safe ways. So, thank you so much, Katie, for sharing your story and your journey. Uh, there's so much inspiration we can glean from you. There's so much inspiration we can gather from your experiences, and it's so valuable what you've given us today. I'm pretty sure that most of the people here are like looking up to you right now, going, "That's amazing."
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you so much, Marie.
Very true. Uh, so, just to spend a little bit of time just talking about that, the importance of emotional education, emotional well-being, and how understanding that all our emotions are okay. We're actually designed to feel all emotions, right?
Yes,
As human beings, we're meant to have them, and it's okay to have any of them, right?
yes, yes.
Some of you guys might know about the movies Inside Out, where those emotions are there, and I just think it was such a beautiful expression that although it's easier for other people sometimes for us to just be happy or to just be able to function, that's not always humanly possible, and it's not always the right or safe thing for people in that moment. And so just having access to, you know what, I'm not okay, and I need someone to be okay with that fact that I'm not all right now.
Mhm.
And being able to, as you said about your older daughter, okay, depression, need love. I'm just going to go in, not say a word. They haven't said a word. I'm just going to offer that connection.
Yep,
And I know that's what they want.
yeah.
I
And
know
and
it's
you
what they need.
and you don't need to try and fix it, and you don't need to necessarily even say anything. Just
Yeah.
be there. Just
Just
be
be.
there and sit with them
Yeah.
and and get a drink even and just sit with them and be with them, and honestly, it does a world of difference just being
Mm.
there.
Yeah.
The last thing they want is you to try and fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an easy impulse, but fixing emotions is just about mission impossible. Most of us know this, but doesn't stop us trying to do it anyway. And
Oh,
like you
yeah,
said, it's not necessarily the person just wants to be, as you said before, seen, heard, acknowledged. You know
acknowledged.
what? This is hard right now. I'm doing my best. And you're like,
Hmm.
you're amazing for doing your best, regardless of what it looks like. And I'm just going to hold with you right now. I'm going to be here and I'm going to allow this to be as safe as it possibly can just because of connection.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Just how kids just, I mean, this is what I found with my kids anyway. It's
Yeah.
just they just want you just to hear them out. So sometimes we find um, we talk over them, and sometimes we just want to sit. They just want you just to let them vent, listen to how they're feeling, and then they'll just move on. It's just like they just want to tell you all their emotions and how they're feeling and how their day was, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I feel so much better now." So much
Right.
better now. And then they'll move on. It's just
Yeah.
someone just needs to listen to them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and so we're the same, aren't we?
We
We're
so are.
exact, we're exactly the same. We just
Yes.
want people just to listen to us. It's like, don't fix it. I just want someone just to sit and listen to me. Oh, I feel so
Yes.
much better now.
Yeah. And
Mm,
sometimes just unburdening our soul from some of these challenging experiences and the emotions that go with them does all the healing that we need.
yeah, yeah. And if we can teach our kids that expressing all these emotions, and that all these emotions are normal and okay, and that riding these waves are absolutely normal. Imagine what their mental health is going to be like when they're
Yeah.
adults, when they're our age. I
Yeah.
mean, they're gonna be good. They're gonna be okay, aren't they? If they know how to deal with it.
Mm. They're going to have so much more empowerment, I think, and
They,
so much self-belief, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
that consciousness that moments don't define us.
Mm,
It's, as we were talking
exactly.
before, our response to moments that
Yeah.
have the greater impact on who we are and how we go on to live than the moment itself.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we don't know the destination, but it's how we react to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it plays such an important role in our overall well-being, and resilience. I've heard it described as like a bungee cord where life happens and inevitably we find ourselves falling. However, resilience is that cord that allows us to bounce back and restore ourselves. And I'm hearing from you that joy is a big part of that. That choice of joy is a big part of resilience for you. Have you developed or become aware of certain practices or habits that help you choose that joy every day?
Yes, but do you know what? Can I say something? And it's something little. It's something very, very little that I do every day, and it's very superficial, but it's something that will make me so joyful and happy.
Excellent.
Uh, very superficial and little, but it makes me happy. And I think a lot of you will probably relate. Every morning, my husband comes in with a cup of coffee. He opens the blinds, and I will sit and have a cup of coffee for 10 to 15 minutes without anyone coming in. And I sit there and I just think and I reflect and I just drink my coffee alone for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
that's just my time. And just that 10-15 minutes with my cup of coffee in my own thoughts to start the day off with,
Yeah.
honestly, it's joyful. It starts my day off in a good mindset.
Hmm.
And honestly, it's just that I would recommend it. I would
Yes.
recommend
I'm sure
it.
a lot of us would like
And
10 minutes in the morning with a cuppa.
I
Yeah.
know. There's the going for a walk. I love going for a walk. If I can't go for a walk, I sit outside for 10 minutes
Yeah.
and just get some fresh air. I like being with my thoughts, and I know some people don't struggle to be with their thoughts. I like to be with my own thoughts. I find um, it very calming, and yeah,
That's
yeah,
so beautiful.
I do find that gives me peace.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing these little things that you do and things that enable you to live out the choices that we make. Choices are really tough, but sometimes they feel like the easier part of the journey, because living them out, it can be really difficult. So
Mm,
really thank you. And almost what I'm hearing from taking that 10 or 15 minutes is that capacity to reflect, that capacity to almost meditate on what is right now, what is the current
that-
moment, what's the current need, how can I navigate this space.
yeah, it really is, Marie. Um, really just being thankful for what you've got, and where you're at, and trying really hard to be present where you are now and not being 10 steps ahead, because it's so easy to try and think where you would like to be and go, no, pull yourself back and go, be thankful for where you are now.
Mm,
Yeah. And where you've come from as well.
mm.
So, and makes you be really present, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a powerful thing that we can do. It's such a powerful thing that is portable and free and accessible to us all, is
Yeah.
to consider the current moment and then respond and make choices. I
Yeah.
know in the mental health space, which is the human life space, right? uh, that choice is powerful
Choice
and
is wonderful.
so powerful, and it
Yeah.
doesn't require the circumstances to change. The choice in itself is where the power lies, mentally and in our lives and in our emotions. It's such an empowering thing for people to do, even if the choice is the same as what would have been handed to you. The act of choice has such a positive impact on the way we see things and how we interact with that and how then we feel about what's happening around us. Because, kids and adults, so often we have no say over what's going on in our lives or no say over particular moments. And just being able to sit in that, it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. And I have a choice now that I can make. Just an incredibly valuable skill for people
Mm.
to hold and, of course, put into practice. Look, thank you again so much. We've learned about the power of choosing joy over bitterness for you and for your family, and no doubt for all of us. It's been such an inspiring story about how Buddy Boo came to be and how it's helping children and adults understand and express their emotions. Um, Please, all of the people here today, take some time to visit the Buddy Boo website and the social media to learn more. If it's within your capacity, I can only encourage you to invest. It's such an incredible tool that can be used in such a broad range of settings and circumstances. You're welcome, of course, to join us in the mental health movement and benefit from the website, resources, and upcoming events. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest in mental health and your investment in who you are as a person and the people that you care for in being here today. Thank you, Katie, for your insight, your passion, and inspiration. It's been such a privilege to be part of today. And as you continue, each of us, our own journey, please know that you are not alone. Help is available. And in working together, we really can make a positive difference. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. And I hope it's added some value to your life today.
Thank you so much, Marie. It was lovely.
Lovely to chat with you, Katie.